What's up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast. I am your host today, Jordan Comstock. With me, I've got Tessina. She is hanging out because Ben is out on, he's going to Florida, having a good time over there. Tessina, what's up? Oh, I think I lost her.
She's
Tessina will
frozen.
rejoin us. That's all
She
right.
got hit by liquid nitrogen.
She got hit by liquid nitrogen. Well, today we have an awesome guest, Dr. Howard Farran. Howard, how are you, man? How you doing?
Doing great, man. Loving life. How is that a real live window? Or is that a screenshot? That's a real
Yeah,
live
this
window.
is my background here. I'm here in Utah, and this is the freeway system. Welcome back,
Whereabouts?
Tessina.
Whereabouts in Utah?
I'm in Lehi, Utah.
Lehigh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lehigh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right where like all the tech companies are. It's just kind of how it is
It's a
here.
Silicon Valley of dentistry.
Yes, it
in
is.
that area, from Provo to Lehigh. I mean, gosh darn. I mean, I think the majority of high tech startups in dentistry. In fact, I even wrote an article on it on Dentaltown years ago that
Yeah, I remember.
Utah's becoming the Silicon Valley of dentistry.
There is so much dental tech here. It's weird. It must be the fluoride in the water. Just kidding. They just took fluoride out of the water actually here. So never mind.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, Howard, I'm so glad you're on the show. Tessina, welcome back. I introduced you, but you got cut off and spit
Sorry.
out. But you're good, Tessina. Tessina's joining us today. Welcome, Tessina.
Thank you.
So, Howard, we got some questions for you because I mean you've seen the dental industry for a long time now. How long have you been in dental? Everyone knows who you are.
Yeah, I mean, I graduated in '87, and
Okay.
that's most boomers I meet were born in the twos. They think you're old if you're before the 2000s, and I graduated in 1987.
Bless you.
And the main things haven't changed at all. I mean, dentistry goes all the way back to G.V. Black was the founder of the American dentist, but it goes back to France. Pierre Fichard, and we were barber surgeons. And
Yeah.
and he wrote a textbook on it, and he was the first one to get the guys to say, hey, quit doing shoes and beards and bloodletting and all this stuff, and let's just focus on dentistry. And when a patient goes to the dentist and gives them a coin, and you get them out of pain, which in the early days was always an extraction, then later turned out to be a root canal, and now it could be an extraction and an implant. That part has never changed. And the whole 40 years that I've been in it always gets messed up when instead of the patient paying the dentist a coin, now you say, oh, well, I'll buy my own car, but only the insurance company can decide on what's going to happen to my teeth. I'm a victim to Blue Cross and Blue Shield or Delta, and same thing. So, if and dentists did not go to school for 8 years to be somebody's employee.
Yeah.
I mean, that just, and I can prove that because when I sat there in my dental office for 4 decades, these kids would be in grammar school, and they'd say, when I grow up, I want to be a dentist like you. And then maybe you refer them out to get braces. They come back and say, no, I want to be an orthodontist, like the orthodontist. Then you send them to get their wisdom teeth pulled. Oh, no, I want to be an oral. And and then they come in and they're going to, U of A or ASU and none of them go to BYU because BYU you just have to visit. Because if you drive through BYU real slow with your windows down, they'll just throw a diploma in your back seat. You
Yeah,
don't
they
have
will.
to actually register and get a degree or anything. But then they're coming from ASU and U of A saying Flagstaff saying, "Will you write me a letter? I want to get into dental school. I can't wait to graduate, be just like you." And then the minute they graduate from dental school, their whole personality does a shift, and it goes from all excitement to fear. And they don't
Yeah.
understand it's fear, so they start saying, well, I know I graduated May 11th and my dental office opened September 21st, but no, I need more experience, and I don't want to dive in the swimming pool. I just want to walk around it, dip my toe in it, and I think I should get a year or two under my belt, and I should learn how to do more root canals. And then they start just crazy shit. Well, I think I should get married. I'm like, you are married. Well, I think we should have a kid first. And it's like, why don't you just say you're afraid? And that's the thing about fear is fear. Justin Gaethje, the best UFC fighter that ever ruled from Safford, Arizona. He's our hometown boy. I've seen him fight in Glendale. He won't even take a fight unless he's scared to death. I mean, he would not sign up with Jordan if he thought, oh, I can beat up Jordan. If he thought, holy shit, Jordan's going to kick my ass. he says he needs that because that's what gets him to roll out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, do his 5-mile road work. And then the Sugar Show, he's in Phoenix too. The Sugar Show, what's his name? Sugar. Same thing. He won't fight anybody where he knows he's going to win. And so it's really smart, successful people. Of course you're afraid. You just got out of dental school. But no one fails. I mean, when you look at Bank of America, and when you get a loan for a dental office, less than 1% go bankrupt or default on loan. In fact, it's not even close to 1%. It's like 0.57 or something like that. And everyone who goes bankrupt had their license taken away. And usually that's going to be a wild activity involving drugs and sex and crazy stuff and hidden cameras. And unless you're a freak, I mean, I worry about my 4 boys and 8 grandkids when they're out driving on the highways, but I don't worry about them getting their professional license taken away.
Yeah,
and
sure.
So your only fear is, oh, you dive in the pool, you're not going to drown, your feet touch the bottom, the dentistry is not going. And here's another thing about AI and all this stuff like that. All the predictions on AI have been wrong. When I remember when Jensen, the top dog at NVIDIA, and it shows you how early we are in this cycle when a chip maker still thinks he's important. Remember, because I'm old. Remember from 94 to 2000, there were only 4 Magnificent 7. It was Intel and Microsoft. They called that Wintel, and Intel was the chip. And then Dell, whose father was an orthodontist, was selling the computers. And then Cisco was the routers. And then the internet bubble popped and went to almost all the way to rock bottom, and I think Amazon lost like 96% of its value.
Yeah.
And that's when the internet just started going, and all the great companies were built on top of the Intel chip. So the fact that everybody thinks NVIDIA is the big deal, that's just like Intel in 94. It's like all the great AI companies in the world haven't even been launched yet. And 10, 20 years from now, there'll be a magnificent, the 4 horsemen like in Intel and all those, or the Magnificent 7. There'll be 7 companies in 20 years that no one can live without, and you've never even heard of them to this day. I mean, you've never even heard of them. So but anyway, when Jensen said that the first profession that's going to be eliminated was oral and maxillofacial radiology.
Interesting.
Well, he couldn't have been more wrong because an oral radiologist's job is to talk to, let's pretend Tessa's the doctor referring you and you're the patient, and my job is to explain to Tessa what this blood work and imaging and what type of cancer and what stage it's in and what to do. And my job is but to read the actual x-ray. Obi-Wan Kenobi could read the damn x-ray. Who cares? and Jensen said that he thought they would be eliminated. And now there's a massive shortage of them because now that the cost of reading the CBCT or the MRI, since it's so low, now 10,000 more people are wanting. There's oral surgeons now that said, oh, I would just have an oral maxillofacial radiologist read it if there was something serious. Now it's so cheap and fast, they're just saying, I want all my CBCTs read. There's orthodontists that just say, yeah, I take a Panoseph on every start. I'm just going to. So now you have a shortage of oral. So the main, and Yomi has placed 40,000 implants now, and they're plus or minus a micron. There's no surgeon in the world that can do it that good. And they're scaling. So the time it took to go from 40,000 to, I'd say, 20,000, the next scale will be 400,000. But there's 8 billion people, and you still go to oral surgery school, and you still need someone, there still needs to be a captain of the ship. But I can see an oral surgeon 20 years from now, just like a dentist has 4 operatories, and each operatory is Obi-Wan Kenobi and R2-D2 and, doing the x-rays and doing all that stuff.
Totally.
But someone needs to be able to talk to the referring Dr. Tesla and Dr. Boomcloud that, hey, buddy, it's going to be fine. And, talking, because they want that trust. And what dentistry is, like a lot of people ask me, they'll say things like, well, how come, you go get a mani-pedi and she, assumes that she's going to get a tip. You go to a restaurant, the waiter assumes they're going to give a tip.
Sure.
Why does everybody get a tip? But I'm a hygienist. I'm a dentist. I just saved your tooth with the root canal. That hygienist just busted her butt for now. Why doesn't she get a tip?
Yeah.
And it's like because it's a completely different industry. Everybody at the mani-pedi and the restaurant knows it's a service and it's a service and it's retail and they're trying to upsell you. But in healthcare, they're not in that mode. They're in trust mode. And they're thinking,
big time.
Tesla, I hope you're saying I need a fluoride treatment because I need a fluoride treatment. Not because you want $35 more and you're paid on commission. Because if that's the shit going down, I need to find a new hygienist. I need to find a new doctor. And dentistry was born, raised, and will die in trust mode because some human has got to touch you, diagnose you, give you a shot, perform surgery on your teeth, and give you advice. And I can tell if I need a mani-pedi or not. I can look at my fingernails and say, whatever.
So I guess the question is, do you need a mani-pedi right now?
Yeah, do I need a, when I need a man. So the bottom line is, if you tell me, that I need a mani-pedi. Now I don't know why I need salt rocks rubbed into my cab, but I figure it's an upsell. This is her deal. I'm a millionaire. I'm not gonna cheat her out of a rock salt calf rub, whatever. I mean,
it's worth it.
I always say that, or you can read my palm, whichever one you prefer to do. Why don't you read my palm while you're rubbing sea salt in my calf? But the thing is that dentistry. If I tell you that you got 4 cavities on your x-ray, well, you can't ChatGPT that. You can't Google that. It's got to be trust. And these DSOs that, the dentists are scared and they're cranky. And they're cranky because student loans went up really high. They're graduating $500,000 in debt. DSOs came out, and that's competition. 4 out of 5 dentists own their own practice in the United States of America today. Only 20% are DSOs. And you would think the dentist lost the race and they should just hang up their license and go get a job at Home Depot. I mean, it's just crazy. And the DSOs are having their first pendulum swing because when they had zero money from the Federal Reserve for over a decade, how do you go wrong? But now that the cost of capital is a real nickel on every dollar, now DSOs have to be profitable. And so you're seeing a lot of shakeouts. You got 3 of them. You got the three big ones right now that are shaking out right now. And that's what you would expect. And I know the minute I said that I should name them, but I want to make sure I name them right. Let's see. I just posted this on Dentaltown yesterday. Oh my gosh! Seems like on Dentaltown all they talk about is soccer. It was.
No, that's appropriate. Yeah.
My gosh, and nobody has said the obvious that I look just like Erling Haaland, especially with my long hair. But affordable care. Affordable Care, Dental Care Alliance, Aspen Group. These guys are all trying to unwind billions in debt.
Interesting.
And but that's not even a dental story. That's a finance story. Tons of companies borrowed too much money and needed outside investor. Yeah. You go to Bloomberg. I mean, this is not a new story. So dentistry is good. Their attitude is bad. They're mad at the ADA. There's a really funny thread where let me see. But anyway, it's the president, and I've been teasing myself that I'm going to push it out on social media, but I'm not, because I'm not
around the ADA.
Well, the president, where the hell is that thread? But anyway, it's the president of the ADA having dinner with 4 or 5 big insurance.
Yeah, I've heard a lot lot about that. Yeah, so let's talk about that, because we got a big dilemma in the dental industry right now where revenue growth is flat, but costs are increasing by like 4.9% over the past 5 years, where revenue is at 1.4%. And I believe a huge contributor to that is the low reimbursements from insurance companies.
100%.
And yeah, you see it all
Yeah.
the time, Tessa. What do you think about that, Howard?
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, Tessa was going to say something.
Go ahead, Tessa.
I was going to say, I mean, the low reimbursement rates are very hard, but I was going to speak to what Howard's been saying is like the fear basis that these doctors kind of go into.
Sure.
Of like fear mode of like, and feeling like they have no control over those reimbursement rates. And so they start flailing out of control, kind of trying to figure out what to do, locked into that low reimbursement rate and somehow affording to do it. So insurance companies, I think unintentionally, hopefully, have created this dynamic where now quality care dentistry is going down because doctors are trying to cut in areas to afford to do dentistry in this box of the low reimbursement rates. And it's very scary. It changes dentistry in a big way, don't you think, Howard?
I do. One thing I had to say first, like, take the fluoride treatment. Dentists charge $25, $35 to that could cut the cost of your hygienist in half. If the hygienist was just saying, would you like a fluoride treatment? Your insurance doesn't cover it. As opposed to, that's like an upsell. That's what someone should say based on commission. Instead of just saying, hey, Tessa, I really think you need a fluoride treatment. You've already had 13 fillings in your life. You have 2 cavities now. You have some root surface. You're telling me these are sensitive, and I really think you need to have a prescription fluoride treatment. It is $35. I have no idea if your insurance pays for it or not. That's between you and Geico. But I'd really recommend. And then they just say, because you said it in a high trust way.
Yes.
I tell patients all the time. They'd say, well, will the insurance company pay for a root canal or an implant or an extraction? I said, hey, buddy, after I had 4 kids, I wanted a vasectomy, but my insurance would only pay for a castration. So guess what I did? I paid out of pocket, and I saved both my nuts. So I don't really care, what your benefit plan, that's between you and your boss and Blue Cross and Blue Shield. I don't give 3 shits, but this is what I would do.
Yes.
You're a 25-year-old kid. You don't want to lose your damn molar. Because you know what you're going to do with that money? You're going to go to, Lake, what's the lake up there on Hoover Dam? What's that big lake up there? On Hoover Dam by Vegas? Lake Mead.
Lake Mead.
I said, because you're going to take all that money for the root canal and you're going to go to Lake Mead for the weekend, get a houseboat. You're going to go to Disneyland. You're going to buy whatever. But you know what? I say save your nuts and get a root canal, and let's save that tooth, okay?
Yeah.
And when I say that like that, and when I you just talk to him like you do your kids. And and once you establish that you're a high trust authority, and I never got sued by a patient because when they came in and they were upset and wanted their money back, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, Walmart refunds 1% of sales, no question. You could buy a tent, go camping, bring it back with rocks and twigs and mud in it, and show a tear. And they're like, I'm not going to go into Tesla. I don't know if she's crazy. I don't know if she's legit, but we're just going to take it back. So Walmart does it because it's not worth the hassle, but a dentist won't give a refund. And then he goes to the board. Now he's got to cancel patients. He needs to hire an attorney.
Yeah.
He's losing sleep. He doesn't love dentistry anymore. He's thinking truth, liberty, and just says, God, all he had to do is refund a denture. I mean, come on. Just refund the damn denture.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing, Howard, is that still that hygienist or the clinical person is presenting required treatment or highly recommended treatment from a fear basis that maybe the patient will turn them down or say that they don't have money or bring up insurance care instead of addressing it from the necessary clinical aspect. There's still that underlying fear of like, the patient's going to turn me down or the patient's going to stay this instead of being confident in our good quality clinical care, right?
Yeah, I was in college for way too many years, and some of my best friends, good looking, going to be a dentist someday, just baller. They could have married any one of my 5 sisters. and you go to a bar and they couldn't even ask a girl to dance because she was afraid she's going to say no.
Yeah.
And I said, look, that she's 5 foot, she's 100 pounds. She's not going to like shoot you. She's not going to beat you up. The worst she can say is no. And then my dad trained me that when I was a little kid. He said, you know how he made me go, one of his friends, Les Donovan, was having a Saturday course for a new car salesman at Pontiac in Wichita, Kansas. And he made me, he talked to Les at church, and Les said, yeah, Howie can sit in the back. But don't say nothing. And the main takeaway I learned was that you need 25 people to come on this lot and say no to sell a brand new car. So when someone says, if Tess comes in and says, no, I was just looking at like, great, that's your number 7. Boom Cloud's number 8, and I'm getting my way to, so you never lose that ambition of, like Winston Churchill said, success is going from one huge problem to another without lacking any enthusiasm or excitement or whatever. And people are so complex, but just like a dog knows that you're scared of the dog. They sense that fear and they treat you differently. Yes. Patients know when you're upselling, when you're scared, when you don't have confidence. In fact, I had one dentist, one of the most successful dentists I knew. He said he would never let anybody in his office present a treatment plan unless they had at least $25,000. If they didn't have the amount of money of that treatment plan in their own savings account, you're just going to go like you're afraid of dogs, and the dog's just going to pick up on, this is way expensive and way fair. And he said he had an older lady. He had paid off her house. She had paid off her car. She probably had, $100,000 in retirement, and she could just go in there fearless to the dog and just say, God, just imagine. And then I always tell people that it's not their patient's fault, because they're always going to say, oh, well, you don't understand. I live in Lehi, Utah, where people can only buy groceries if they give plasma. And it's like, look, dude, everybody I know at my age has bought one new car in their lifetime. And a new car in their lifetime in present day, which some people say 90% of all Americans before they die will buy a new car. And the average value of a new car held for inflation for today, $50,000. Yes. And right now, Clear Choice, which added the prosthodontist, the implant surgeon, and the laboratory, they sell $25,000 an hour. They sell a $50,000 upper and lower several times a day. They have 100 locations spread out, and then you say, oh, it'll never happen in Pennsylvania. Really? Well, let's go to the Clear Choice. I went to the one the other day. I was shopping for something else. I saw a new Clear Choice location. It was on McCormick, and I believe Pecos and McCormick. And, I mean, the people walking in there are so excited. Every time one of your friends buys a brand new car, they always got to drive it by your house and show you, and you got to go out there and fawn all over it and lick the hubcaps and listen to the music. And and then I'll ask Dennis. 95% of dentists will retire, and they never did one new car treatment plan for $50,000. Now, do you really think no one in that doc's town ever got a new car? Do you think that women didn't buy a new car because they or think of the cosmetic surgeries, the facelift, the tummy tuck, because they're going back to their high school reunion, their college reunion. I'm on a diet right now just because my baby is getting married at the end of next month, and I just so that motivates me. It's like, really, you can't quit eating Oreo cookies and Rocky Road ice cream for 1 month, you loser piece of fat crap. And now, I got my celery and my carrot stick, and I called up Zach this morning on the way to work, and I told him I give him $10,000 if he moved his wedding up till tomorrow so I could get off this damn diet. But the deal is Clear Choice is a DSO. Yeah. It's not even owner-operators that have skin in the game. They're employees selling $50,000 treatment plans, not once, not twice, several times a day, 100 locations, and you, my scared-ass doc, has never sold one in your whole life, and you're going to the Pankey Institute, and you're going to Spear, and you're going to, who's the Greek, in Seattle, I love that guy, Coyce. You're going to all these classes Dude, you don't have the balls to go to one of those classes. I went to all those classes. I went to Panky for 5 weeks, but I had my balls before I went there, and I could look a person in the eye. And here's how I would do it. I would, when they come in, I would just look at them and say, hey, I'd look in the mouth and I'd say, hey, you need to tell me what you want to do. I mean, okay, look, you're 30 years old. I see you've already got like 13 existing fillings. I see you got 3 new cavities. You need a cleaning. We can do that. But maybe you just like to take all that crap out, all that old stuff out, and put it all in porcelain, veneers. Dude, you would leave with a movie star smile. So we're looking at, I mean, do you want to do like the $1,000 whatever insurance once, or do you want to do the $25,000 leave like a movie star? Now, before I even said that, I knew I had to say that 7 or 8 times before someone would get excited and said, oh my God, I got a 25-year class reunion. Oh my God, I would love to walk in there with the movie star smile. And I go, baby doll, if you got 25 grand, you're gonna go back with a movie star smile. And then that's the psychology. Now it's like they bill insurance. Who cares what Delta does?
Yeah.
And then the presentation, which I was taught this in Larry Rosenthal's office. He had me lecture at one of his extravaganzas, and I stayed a couple days with him, and it was amazing because the patient could not see the veneers till every employee was in the operatory, and then they would show it, and then everybody would just oh and on. It looked like a gender reveal party, except teeth flew out, and they loved it, and they told everybody, and she probably went back to reunion feeling like $1 million, just like you feel like $1 million when you get a new car. But see, dentists aren't gonna do that because it's a lot easier to blame the American Dental Association, Delta Dental, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and DSOs, and I just tell people, you know what? Let's make this simple. Just blame your mom. She's the fool that had you.
She started
she gets blamed for everything. You always blame everything on your mom. Yeah. Forget the therapist. Just go straight to mom and say, Mom, you ruined my entire life. I can't even sell full mouth reconstruction because you didn't even give me a decent set of testicles at birth. I mean, attitude is everything.
Yeah.
And right now they're cranky. And cranky is because they're scared, and they're scared of DSOs. DSOs, it's always the pendulum, and it's coming back. When I got out of dental school, the bad guy was capitation HMO.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was PPO.
That's right.
And now it's DSO. And now it's ADA. I told ADA they changed their name to ADO.
Yeah.
Just
make it right.
And what is the mom? Just an O with a big M on each side. And, she just blame everything on her.
So taking ownership as a dentist is and having a good attitude versus blaming is probably the right approach in this environment. Instead of blaming ADA and blaming PPOs, take ownership and figure out how to figure it out for yourself.
And I have a lot of advantages from the law of unintended consequences. I didn't know when I started lecturing that eventually I'd get invited to 50 countries around the world. So you got to see a big distribution. And America's got this big Henry Ford style production unit, 4, 6, 8, 12 operatories. Yeah. Whereas you go to like Singapore and Japan, a dentist has one. I'm a dentist. Here's my chair. And I split it with another guy. I'm here 6 hours in the morning because land in Tokyo is $1 million a square meter.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, you saw this in COVID. The honest government shut down all the dental offices, while Costco and Walmart and anybody that had a functional lobbyist. Obviously, the American Dental Association does not have sufficient lobbyists, because I couldn't have someone come in my office for infection control for COVID, but then I could go to Walmart and Costco and push the cart around, 1,000 people sneezing, farting, breathing, bumping into me. But anyway, during that COVID deal, how many dentists were on Dentaltown saying, oh my God, my patient called me up and she's had a toothache, and I told her we're closed, but I could go down there. I got a CEREC machine. I could go down there and do the root canal, bill, and crown, but it'd be $2,500, and I can't bring in my staff. I can't turn on the insurance. I mean, if you brought me down a check for $2,500 or if they get their, I'll do it. And then the assistant would meet there. Instead of paying your assistant $20 an hour, the dentist, if she met there and they knocked this out, he'd give her a couple Benjamins, and he'd do $2,500, and he'd say, wow, I was closed. I need $2,500. I mean, that was like $1,000, $1,500 of net income. And I see these individual dentists in Singapore where they got, you come into them, this is their phone, this is their office phone, they have one chair. Maybe their daughter after high school will come by and help for a bigger case or instruments. Sometimes the wife will stop by if they needed her for something. They only do about $300,000 a year, but they take home $225,000.
Yeah.
And then I'm over here and I see dentists doing $1 million a year, taking home $140,000, and they have 5 times the volume exposure for root canals to fail, people to sue, board complaints, stressed out of your mind. And I think that that dentists don't realize that dentistry can be a very efficient, fun game of volume. If you got the Henry Ford assembly line going on great, and you got a great team, you can run that. But if that ain't your deal, and you just got out of dental school, and you just go to Gilbert, and you just rent 500 square feet and put it in one office and say, hey, I'm Girly Girl Dental, and I just got out of dental school. I know I'm talking about, these are TikTok videos that I see. And it goes, I just opened up, and if you want to be my patients, and then I go check out their followers. They've only had this page like a month. They got 300 followers, busy as hell. But when that person comes in, you could open up and say at first, well, sorry, Tessa, I haven't figured out how to do insurance yet, but for now, you're just going to have to pay me on your debit card like you do everyone else on the planet, and then file your return and or whatever. But man, if you have no overhead and you have one chair, I mean, it's your game to lose. You can't lose. And I know people who kept that career. I know a girl in San Francisco, Gina. She did that her whole life. She never wanted the high overhead machine. Ryan and I went and visited her office. I mean, so you're not going to go bankrupt in dentistry. You don't have to compete with it. I actually love DSOs. I really do, because I raised 4 boys. And I told my boys, I said, you notice if you fall off your bike and break your arm, an ambulance will pick you up. You fall up, break your head, an ambulance will pick you up. And Chandler Hospital is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they land helicopters. But if you fell off this bike and broke your 2 front teeth out, there's not one dentist open. None of them are in the yellow pages. None of them get up their home number. All you can get is an answering machine. Yeah. And the first DSO that came here was Ed Silker from Minnesota, and he opened up Sunshine Dental. And it had 4 locations, and it was open 10 to 10, 7 days a week. And that's where I worked for 4 months, where they were building my office. And I told Ed, I said, you are the salvation, because you always knew when the dental offices were closed. And, you go to the hospital. In fact, if I was going to start a DSO, I would start one. I'd call it emergency room dental, and I'd go rent free space. I bet I could get, because about 8% of the emergency room is odontogenic in origin, and they can't do anything. They could remove a tumor in my brain, they could do a bypass, remove my appendix, gallbladder, kidney stones, but a molar in your face, they're like, where did that come from? I mean, what up with that? We don't know what to do. We're retarded. And then when you have a busy emergency room, the receptionist can just stand up and say, hey, if this is tooth in origin, you need to go down that hall. It's the first door to the left, because the MDs don't do dental stuff. And so I'm sorry that you're scared. And by the way, the $500,000 student loans, that's another lie. Let me tell you why that's a lie. There's 2 dental schools in my backyard. Sure. There's AT Still in Mesa. There's Midwestern Glendale. You drive through that student loan lot, it looks like a baller convention. You see Teslas and Range Rovers and BMWs. And I thought, man, they must be the faculty good. They're like, no, that's the students. And then on spring break, they're always going on cruises. So you gave your daughter a credit card, and you're shocked that she charged $500,000 on it by the time she got out of dental school. She could have got out of dental school for $140 if she took the bus, had an old beater car, no vacation. And then they get out of school and they go, I got $500,000 student loans. And I said, yeah, but you had a rock star 8 years to get ready for now. You're going to have to work like no man has for 10 years, and you'll reap like no dentist has for 30 years. And I'll say, you need to buy a practice. Well, I don't know. I'm working for a DSO and I hate it, but we are buying a home in Gilbert. I'm like, how much is that home in Gilbert? Oh, $600,000. And I know your mom and dad. And you already had a baby in dental school. Your mom would kill to have you move in, no rent, no mortgage, no babysitter. Yeah. They don't even want you to come home. Just go work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and pay off all your student loan debt. Oh, no. They stay working at the DSO. Now they got $500,000 student loans. They got a $600,000 home in Gilbert. And if you don't believe me, I'll give you the damn address. I'll outer on your podcast. No, I'm just kidding. But I've seen it a dozen times.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, the key to wealth is living below your means.
Yep.
And the key to a successful marriage,
if
you have two people that get married and they both live below their means, oh my God, there's no stress. But you get two people that spend more than they earn. They're always stressed at work, trying to get a raise. Oh, I want to change jobs. I'm making $26 an hour here. I think I can get 28 hours here. And then he's like, well, I think we can get a job transfer. I got a job transfer to Utah. I'll make more money. Yeah, but now your mom's not going to babysit. So now we won't have a babysitter in Lehigh because our gosh darn grandmother is in Gilbert and Mesa. I mean, you studied the mouth for 8 years. And if there's anything you learned about the lips, what's the number one rule about the lips? Is you keep them together and shut the F, just STFU, and go get a job and work and live below your means and treat other people like you want to be treated. And it was so easy for me to present a treatment plan because I always look deeply into their eyes. And when I look deep into people's eyes, they look so beautiful because I can always see my reflection in their eyes. And
I did not think that's where you were going with that.
And then I would just tell that patient exactly what I would want them to tell me. And imagine going to the doctor the dental way. Well, I don't want to tell her that I could do all this. Well, what if the doctor says, well, I can't tell Howard that he's 63 and he's got prostate cancer and liver cancer and erectile dysfunction, and I'm just going to tell him he needs some antibiotics. No, I don't want that, doctor. I want you to tell me straight what's going on and what would you do? And what is if I was you, what would you do? And if you just keep it real and you just keep the authentic, passionate communication, treating other people like you want to be treated, but you got to get out of the fear zone. And the whole world's living in fear. And, I've noticed that when I started traveling around the world, the first thing I noticed is I'd always have dentists picking me up on the other end. And I told them I always want to sleep in their home. I do not want to sleep in a hotel. I didn't come to Indonesia to stay in a Holiday Inn. I didn't go to Poland to stay at a Hyatt Regency. I want to know what Polish dentists do. I'll never forget, I was in March and Dulek invited me in there, and I got up in the morning and I opened the refrigerator and I almost gasped because everything I was expecting in a refrigerator wasn't in the refrigerator. We're in Poland. It was sausages and different fruits and vegetables and plates, and I was looking for a bowl and milk and some Fruit Loops, and I was 0 for 3. And but the same thing, and going around the world, and you realize they're all in the top 10%. They're all in the top 5% of a year's education. They're all in the top 10% income. They all love their family. Nobody likes their government. I mean, we've had 10% approval. Americans, only 11% of Americans have told Gallup that they approve of our government. Okay? So when people are saying, well, the government, it's like, the government has sucked all the way back to the Roman Empire. It sucks in every country on earth. I've never gone to a country and say, well, you know what's great about Finland is our government. Gosh darn, those are some good, smart, hardworking people. So it's not the government. It's not the oral condition. It's not, of course, they're humans and they're going to eat sugar cane. Remember, there's only 2 animals that get cavities, right? Brown bears, because Winnie the Pooh eats honey, and humans, because we eat sugar. So we're fighting a completely preventable disease. You're bringing your daughter in, and you're drinking a 64-ounce thirst buster, telling me that the daughter inherited your bad teeth. Yeah. And then you're pipetting Pepsi into the infant's mouth that doesn't even have teeth. I mean, they're crazy, wild animals, and I love them to death, because if you woke up tomorrow in downtown Hawaii, in Maui, and you're the only human on Earth, think of how empty of an existence that would be.
Yeah.
Everything that's great about life is people, and everything that sucks about life is people. And everybody's going to be that. You're going to have the patients you love the most. You're going to have patients you hate the most. You don't have to reschedule the ones you hate. And same thing. You work at DSO. There's amazing DSOs, but there's amazingly horrible ones. But it's not about all DSOs. But I'll tell you about DSOs. I want to give you the Burger King tip. When the reason McDonald's became number one, and I went to Ray Kroc. My dad had 9 Sonic drive-ins. And I actually, when I was like 10 years old, we went to a restaurant convention, and me and my dad sat in the front row, and I listened to Ray Kroc. And then Chick-fil-A came out and blew away. McDonald's is doing about $3 million a store. Chick-fil-A comes out doing $5 million, and they're closed on Sunday because they only give each franchisee 1 location. So if you're ever going to feed your family, you got 1 location. So the bathroom's clean, the lot's clean, there's no graffiti. It's perfect. Burger King, you can buy 9 locations. You walk into a Burger King, you order French fries and you start eating those French fries. Half the time you find half an onion ring in the French fries. The other time you'll find like half a tater tot. You go into the bathroom, it looks like a camel just used it. Subway, I know a lady in Subway that owns 8 of them. Well, so when you go to the DSO and your office manager runs 4 locations, you need to turn around and run. When you go to a DSO, you say you want to meet the staff. You would say, "Oh, hi, Boomer, Boom Cloud the Boom. How long have you worked here?" And if nobody's worked in that office for 3 years, you need to turn around and run. And then you walk into this solo practitioner, owner, operator right next door, and his new hygienist has been there 8 years. The office manager has been there 20 years. The assistant looks like she should be taken to a vet and put down. She looks like she's 103 years old. And that's a relationship, trust-based business, and that's the part you're going to need a mentor. Like a lot of dentists say, "Well, I want to go work for someone who's going to mentor me in implants or endo." No, you don't. There's 12 specialties. You're going to need 12 different mentors who specialize in this shit all day long. You can have some general dentist doing endo on the side mentor you in endo. Are you out of your mind? You know what you need mentorship on? Trust. Reducing staff turnover. Having patients come back. I can't tell you how many DSOs, they would come into me from the biggest DSOs in Phoenix. They say, "Well, I went in there and the first doctor said I had 3 fillings, so I need to come back and do 2 on the right and 1 left." Well, when I come in, I did 2 on the right, and then I came in to do the 1 on the left, but now that doctor's gone, and the new doctor says I don't have a cavity there, but whoever did these 2 fillings did them wrong, and they need replaced, and I have another cavity up here. It's like, what the hell? They run back to the office and they say, "What the hell's going on?" And it's like, well, they're attracting and retaining young kids straight out of school, just like Walgreens. Walgreens got up to 8,500 locations and then got delisted, and now private equity took over. Now they're down to 8,000 locations, and I could have called it 10 years ago. I remember one time I was going in to buy some magnesium, and the magnesium deal I was reading on Dentaltown saying, I forgot what it was. It was like, you need magnesium oxalate, not magnesium. There's like 3 different kinds. So I walked into Walgreens and I got the magnesium, and I walked up to the pharmacist and I says, "I think I need magnesium." I'm going to say oxalate. I'm not sure. Magnesium oxalate, and this is magnesium unoxalate. And I said, "Do you have the right one?" She goes, "No." She goes, "I'm sorry." She goes, I buy all my vitamins at Sprouts. I mean, they just buy the cheapest, shittiest vitamins. Just go to Sprouts. If you buy a vitamin at Sprouts, it's actually the one I would recommend. I haven't seen a vitamin at Sprouts that I don't recommend. And by the way, when you leave Walgreens, you can buy a carton of Marlboro cigarettes as you go out the door. And I thought, man, and it was 5-10 years later, delisted, closing down 500 stores. And then the Walgreens pharmacist that I knew the most that worked right next to my office, the most coveted job was to get out of retail and go to the mail order machinery deals, just so you didn't have to deal with crazy people. And I just thought, man, there's something so structurally wrong. I mean, you're a pharmacist. Your job isn't filling a script. There should be a CAD-CAM, ATM, Obi-Wan Kenobi that has all the pills dumped in it. And you say, I need 20 Vicodin, boom. I need 20 penicillin, boom. You know, because that's the oral radiology. That's not why you went to school. Or you didn't go to Did you really go to pharmacy school for 6 years to go, okay, here's one pill. Here's 2 pills. Here's 3 pills. No, you went to pharmacy school to say, well, why do you worry about magnesium? And I just heard it makes you sleep better. Well, you know what really makes you sleep good is as soon as it gets dark, start winding down and go to bed and wake up at sunlight. Because after you get your early bird doesn't get the worm. It gets sunlight to hit you to suppress your serotonin, because when sunlight's hitting you, there's no serotonin. So when it gets dark, it starts oozing out of your bloodstream. And when you're buying serotonin and you have a pharmacist explain, no, dude, you don't need a pill. You need to get sunlight right when you wake up, right when it's coming up. That'll turn off your serotonin. And then when it gets dark, it's going to come flooding out and you get sleepy. And when you look at humans that are very close to their circadian rhythm and go to bed within 30 minutes, plus or minus, every night when they go to bed and wake up, their all-cause morality's down like 20%. Their blood pressure, their obese. I mean, you can't. And if you want to wake up, if you want to stay up till 1 o'clock and take dopamine or serotonin, and then wake up at 6 o'clock and drink a Monster and have a coffee.
Jeez,
I mean, we're beyond a pill. That's the conversation I want to have with the pharmacist. And I don't give a shit who fills the bottle of pills. I don't care if it was a spider monkey while riding a unicycle filled the bottle. You know, that's not the service.
Yeah.
You're giving gold, Howard. I love it. I love it. So I hope everybody is listening when they replay this, like the gold you've been giving. And I want to touch back on some of it just to make sure that people understand this awesome gold that you're giving, like that clinical matters huge, doing good quality dentistry. And I want to get your thought on this too, but that good quality dentistry, and dentistry's not going away. We talked about it being fear-based, right? And then we also talked about early on, Jordan, those low reimbursement rates kind of causing that clinical care to go down, right? So in medical, there are, you're able to show that you are doing a higher standard of quality care, and you can negotiate those reimbursement rates to be higher based on that higher clinical care. And in dentistry, we haven't been advocating for that enough. We haven't been doing that enough. And the doctors in turn are in this fear base and letting that drive their quality down instead of, like you said, the difference between somebody being successful is not based on how many insurance companies they take. It's based on the fact that they deliver their treatment plans based on the quality of care they're providing, not whether or not their insurance covers it, right? And so if we're focused on providing really good quality of care, and then we are able to prove that and show that, then we can negotiate those reimbursement rates based on our quality of care. And that's where doctors aren't sure how to do that. I don't know if you've heard about this. I love your thoughts on it, because you're just giving so much gold today. That there's IPA groups. I don't know if you've heard of these. They help doctors show and improve that higher quality clinical care, and then use that as grounds to negotiate the higher reimbursement rates. And that can change the world of dentistry. I'm feeling like so for good, because now we're able to support that higher quality of dentistry. And like you said, a lot of them don't even have to build insurance. You don't have to. You can still be successful. Dentistry is not going away. But we don't have to try to exile all insurance companies. We just need to speak with them differently, show that proof of quality of care, and then get them to reimburse based on that higher quality of care that we're providing. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think first of all, in my mindset, I always ask myself, is this walking up the hill to the summit, or is it going back down the hill to the parking lot? Obviously, doing this skill, going through it, I mean, I got my FAGD, my MG. I mean, I would go through it just to learn all about it, because it's a lot harder to summit the apex than is just, screw it, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go back down in the car and eat M&Ms. I mean, you're on a hike, go for the hike. I still think that, I mean, as far as what insurance pays, like say, like on hygiene, if you just, I mean, you could get a $35 copayment on everyone with a fluoride treatment if you truly believed it and it came from your heart and you said that, and then that would cut the hygiene wages in half. On fillings, all my fillings are gold, and if you can't convert, upsell 10% of your patients from a filling to a porcelain inlay or an onlay on CERAC or gold, I want gold. And you know what I love the most about my gold? It's called the law of unintended consequences. The neatest thing about, I got 8 perfect grandchildren, and for the first time in my life, I'm so glad that I didn't drown all 4 of my boys in the bathtub like I wanted to so many times. And the reason you don't drown them is because the grandkids are better.
The grandkids, yeah.
And when they sit on your lap, they're so enamored with my gold teeth, they got to touch them and pull them out. And Audrey went next door to tell her friend, and then her friend came over, so I had both of them sitting on my chair looking at my teeth. I mean, gold inlays and onlays. I mean, if you want to be a baller grandpa, get gold. and so if I just want to say this. If you've never sold 1 new car's worth of dentistry, you need therapy. You need help. You got a bad attitude. You got depression. You didn't fall in love with dentistry. And look how far dentistry's come. When we were barber surgeons, when they would get done with the rags, they would hang those rags up to dry, and they'd swirl in the wind. That's why when you go to a barber shop today, it still has that red spinning deal. That was to mimic the spinning red bloody towel drying out. And look how far dentistry has come, from a barber surgeon to GV Black to today. And the dentists are bitching more today than they were in Pierre Fichard's day. While plagues are wiping out half the population,
Jeez,
you've never had it better. I mean, did you wake up this morning because you're living for 4 years in a trench warfare during World War I or World War II? I mean, did you live in Kansas? I grew up in Kansas, and all I grew up hearing was the Dust Bowl. And Henry Ford plowed, they plowed all the soil. They got rid of everything because they could plow it down with this new tractor. Well, they got rid of all the soil, all the grass, all the trees, and then the wind whipped up the air. And it was a dust cloud for 4 years. When the cloud went down, 1/3 of all the homes were empty. No one saw a dog, a rabbit, a deer, a cat for years. And then people today are bitching about Delta Dental. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm so sorry. How could you be surviving through such rough times? It's all right here.
Yeah.
It's all right here. Only focus on what you control. The minute I find out I can't control it, well, then it's like the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, I love both oceans. I love Antarctica. I love the South Pole. But right now, this is what I can control. The people that I work with, the people that I see, the person that lives in between my ears. What stories do I tell myself? Do I walk out every day and say dentistry sucks? And then do I go hang out on some of these? I mean, yeah, I own Dentaltown. But I got 300,000 followers on Facebook. I got 47,000 on LinkedIn. 35, whatever. But in most of those Reddit groups and Facebook groups, it's like you 5 people should if you all just chipped in for a therapist, you guys could see one every day for lunch. Just FaceTime each other because you guys are seriously, the sky's falling. And then you think that that's everyone. So you get onto a Facebook group and the first 5 people say, I'd rather have my head knocked off by a torpedo than do whatever. But I grew up, my next door neighbor, Kenny Anderson, was a valedictorian at Creighton University. He loved dentistry. I went to school at UMKC. By the way, all the girls in my class had bigger baller practices than their dads. And I think a lot of it's because I think a lot of the ones that their dad was a dentist, they were just coming out with the same beliefs and doing everything their dad said. But a lot of these girls were just fresh. And they were just fresh and having fun, and they crushed it. And you just need to get happy. You need to clean out the cobwebs between your ears. You need to realize that I don't care where you go. Where you go. I mean, what's that country? Is Gibraltar? It's the only country that's in all 4 hemispheres: north, south, east, west. It's out there in the middle of the Pacific. They have like 300,000 people. They only have 8 dentists. My God, why don't you just leave everything behind and be the 9th dentist out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean with beaches and Mai Tais and just, it's all you're just having a bad attitude. So get your attitude out of gutter. Stop hanging around with people that are doomed. If your 5 best friends all think dentistry sucks, you need 5 new friends.
Change them, yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's dentists that I block because every time they call, it says, and it's always from all the stupid shit that they did. So it's like, okay, so you do stupid shit, and then it catches up with you, and then you want to interrupt me while I'm trying to be with my grandkids to listen to your, and I tell them, I said, dude, get a therapist. I'm not your free therapist. I'm blocking you now. At least if you're a dentist, I block you. You know I blocked you. In fact, I had an email the other day, some guy, he said, hey, I haven't drank for 3 years. I went through therapy. I was in a really dark time, and I'm good now. Will you unblock me? And I said, yeah. And then I called him and we talked. And he's just in a dark space. But, I can't fix your boozing. I can't fix your bad habits. I can't fix that your 5 best friends hate dentistry. Just be positive. Have fun. Treat other people like you want to be treated. And worst case scenario, you're going to be in the top 10% income and top 5% education.
Wonderful.
Gold. Again.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And by the way, Tessa, your teeth are beautiful. You were born for dentistry. Is that all natural? Was that or Invisalign? Did you cheat and get braces, or is that all? Or is that all natural?
No, I did have them straightened, and I did have a fantastic veneers placed. So yeah, I love dentistry, and I'm grateful for the opportunities we have to enhance things. Worked out very well for me.
and see, did you love your smile?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, how come 95% of all the dentists have never sold one new car smile? Not one new car smile. Your teeth are gorgeous. And
Thank you.
And I know Boomer here. I know his teeth come out. He's got a denture. I've seen him.
No.
He soaks them in a glass at night.
That's exactly what I do.
But the bottom line is love dentistry. And the other thing, when bleaching came out, what do? We had everybody in the office bleaching their upper teeth and not their lower. And then when we talked about bleaching, they would take out, and their uppers would look like yours, and their lowers would look like they were soaked in coffee and tea and tobacco. And when Invisalign came out, same damn thing. I mean, why were we selling so many bleaching cases and Invisalign cases? Because everybody in the office. And then I see on some of these Reddit groups, people say, well, I work for a DSO and they don't cover dental for their employees. It's like, do you know of any owner-operated dentist who's been running a practice for 25 years in small-town America that doesn't offer free dentistry for their employees?
Free dentistry, and that's what happened for me, and I use it as marketing all of the time. When the patients start out just wanting whitening, and then they come to the front and they would see me and they would say, how do I get them as white as yours? And I'd say, get veneers, get crowns. That's the way to go. And we would sell a whole new case just based off of my smile as they left. So my doctor was like, it was so worth the investment to do your veneers because we sell case after case for that. So yeah, it's worth.
Very good.
So I just want to end this in one thing. I don't want you to do something new. I don't want you to add something new. I want you to subtract bullshit. I want you to subtract people in your life. When you pull up to your dental office, you see that car, and I don't care what your hygienist dentistry said, you go, oh my God, there she is again. Like, God, I hate that woman. You don't pay a woman you hate to play with in the sandbox. I used to stress me out. One of my big stressors, I'd have dentists in town where they had boys the age as my boys. And some of them, their boys were like best friends with my boys. Then other ones, my boys just say, well, we don't like those boys. And it's like, I can say, well, tough. I like the dad, and he's bringing him over here, and you will. It's like I just had to sit there and say, okay, I need to go do something with him at his place, whatever, because my boy, and it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. You don't go to religion and politics and law and say, if you go work in an office and everybody listens to country music, I don't listen to country music, but I don't want to. I don't want to make anybody feel bad that listens to country music. I don't know if it was congenital. I mean, they might have been born that way. They might have had a head injury. They might have fallen down on a rock. But the bottom line is, it's just your genre. If you like country music and bowling, you should have worked in my office. If you hated country music and bowling and softball, I mean, for 2 decades, all they did is country music, bowling, softball, and if you were, what's the new one now? Paddle Creek, paddleball, what's the new one?
Whatever, I don't even know.
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
Yeah.
And maybe you're a pickleball girl, and there's nothing wrong with being a pickleball girl, and maybe you like rock and roll, but if you need pickleball and rock and roll, you need to find a culture that's like that, and sometimes it's personal. Like, I know a receptionist the other day, and she's so down and depressed and everything, and her 24-year-old son still lives there, and he won't get a job, and he won't move out, and all that stuff like that, and I said, well, you don't have a man in the house? You don't have an uncle? I said, then call the police. Call a lawyer. Have your son serve that says, look, I'm tired of your shit. Get out of my house. Because you'll be doing him a favor. And but you need to subtract. What's taking the smile off your face? What's taking the smile off your face? And that's why I love continuing education the most, because as much as I loved going to Carl Misch when he was at University of Pittsburgh, 7 3-day weekends, once a month for 7 months. Looking back, oh yeah, I fell in love with implants and Carl Misch and all that stuff. But it was the 3 or 4 guys that you're going back with every month. That was the relationship. Same thing. This guy, building your practice in Atlanta. Went down there for that symposium. Absolutely loved it. Brought my staff. But the fun of it was going with the dentist who lived 4 miles down the street, who was telling me for 5 years, you really need to go to this guy in Atlanta because you don't know how to answer your phones. You should be recording your phones.
Yeah.
They should all be answered. And so I waited 5 years. I didn't want to go. Had the most fun. So that's why I joined the AGD and got my FAGD and MAG, because I realized, wow, every time you go to a course, there's this one group of guys that are always there. Those are your AGD trying to get fellowship. And they're always upbeat and positive. And you were sitting by some negative Nelly on the first half that was interrupting half the lecture, telling you how much everything sucked in dentistry and how the sky was falling. It's like I have empathy for you, but I'm selfish and I need to suck the positive energy out of the AGD group. I don't need to be drained by some doom-scrolling negative Nelly club. And I assume that, everything's yin-yang. Half the dentists love it and are going for it, and half the dentists hate it and think the sky's falling. Go to religion. I mean, my gosh, you go to religion. My 2 oldest sisters are Catholic nuns. I swear, if 10 Catholics open their mouth at the same time, 2 of them are talking about the end of the world. It's like, okay, I don't want to start my day about the end of the world. Okay, I want to start my day on positive, and so every finance. There are Wall Street bears who have been calling for the Great Depression the whole 40 years I've been following them. Okay, I don't need to hang around with perpetual bears. So just be careful of who you hang around with. That's who I'm talking about.
Howard, love it.
I love this advice. You've had so much practical advice for our listeners on running a practice and mindset and being with the right people. I think that's everything. Right? Because I've woken up and some days running my own business, and there's those people that I didn't want to be with, and they made it miserable. Today, I run a lean team, and I absolutely love coming in, and that changes everything. For us running practices and business. But Howard, I really loved all of your practical advice, and I hope our listeners gain some value listening to Howard and his experience in this dental space for as long as you've been in it. And once again, Howard, I really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing everything. And we hope everyone has a rocking day.
All right. Well, if you're ever feeling down, you know where to call. We'll do round 2.
I'm going to give you a call. Just don't block me. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for having me on the show. It was truly an honor.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Awesome.